Ready, start. Sir, I rise to support the demands that have been placed before the House by the Home Minister. Sir, I need not remind the House that this year the Home Ministry's demands are being discussed in a context which can be described as almost unprecedented. It is for the first time that we are discussing the demands of ministry after the country passed through the period of the emergency that rocked the very basic structure of the constitution and our policy and made the common people of our country realize what they have lost with the eclipse of their fundamental rights and freedom. Sir, the 19 months of rule marked the culmination of a concerted effort to undermine democracy. Those who wanted to destroy the democracy and convert our system into a totalitarian system had looked upon the Home Ministry as the main instrument for forcing their will on the nation. They wanted to substitute the rule of law with a reign of terror to place individuals above the law, to provide immunity to those whom the group liked, and to harass all those who were looked upon as dangerous to the monopoly of power that the extra constitutional group wanted to preserve. The then Home Minister was himself a captive of this group. It was practically a totalitarian regime and was therefore bound to be a police regime. That is why I would request the Home Minister that the whole police department should be thoroughly overhauled. Sir, I do not want to take the time of the House by listing the various agencies and organizations that were set up in the police department and the home department during emergency, and before that I also do not want to take the time of the house in describing the fabulous amounts of money that had been placed at the disposal of raw and other agencies. Even the money was placed at the disposal of certain individuals and that was exempted from the scrutiny of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India or the Parliament. I do not want to go into all these details, but I would only request the Home Minister to go into these things and ensure that such things do not happen in future under the circumstances, sir. The task of the Home Minister is therefore one of dismantling the police state that was built up by the previous government. Para. Sir, I must congratulate the Home Minister for the excellent beginning that he has made and for the speed that he has acquired to restore the fundamental rights to the citizens and to appoint commissions of inquiry to go into the excesses of the earlier rule as well as the shocking scandals that had characterized last years of the previous regime. However, in all humility, I must confess that it is not enough. The 42nd Amendment of the Constitution should be withdrawn immediately. The fundamental rights will have to be fully resorted, and the role and power of the judiciary must be resorted immediately. Then the necessary correction in the attitude of the police cannot be achieved if at this moment we do not differentiate between those officers and men who acted on instructions and those who went out of their way to trouble and harass people during the earlier rule. If we do not differentiate between these people and do not give to the guilty exemplary punishment that would serve as deterrent and corrective, we would not be able to reorganize the police department. Para. Now I come to the area of general administration for which the Home Minister is wholly responsible. Our public offices have not earned a great reputation for efficiency. Public petitions and letters remain unanswered and under consideration for months and months together. Public petitions and letters written by the public representatives, councillors, legislators, or members of parliament, even to the ministers, leave aside the officers, remain unanswered or under consideration for years together. Sometimes we do not get a reply at all to our letters. Our people have to suffer because of this. We hope the Home Minister will see that these public offices function efficiently even after 50 years of our own government. These public officers, especially officers like block development officers and the public officials, do not behave properly, and they even behave very badly with the public. The Home Minister should look into that so that the public officers behave properly and in a manner as to instill confidence in the people that it is their own government which wants to serve them and not to terrorize them within the time to you have given. I want to draw the attention of the Home Minister to a very important matter. I know the law and order is a state subject. Honorable member was telling that our Home Minister has encroached upon this state subject. Sir, if some state governments and their chief minister and ministers behave in such a way which is against people interest, naturally, government of India have to take action against these people. Para. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, in the course of his reply, the Honorable Minister referred to some of the remarks made on the 18th while replying to question number 4, and he said that his remarks were misunderstood by some of the members. Sir, I really admire my honorable friend for making a reference to it bit, but if I say that some minister in the Council of Ministers at the center are wise, how you will take it? Of course, in his buoyancy, Beyonce, he made that statement. I do not know whether he really intended it, but it only meant that some members in the opposition are wise and some are foolish. Of course, taken in a lighter vein, it means nothing, but I think such a statement as a whole could have been avoided. Now, sir, I welcome some of the statements made by him, and I submit that in April the vacancies were 64 and in July the vacancies were 67. According to his own analysis of the disease of arrears and pendency of cases in the Supreme Court and in the High Courts, the judge strength was less, and therefore this backlog is there. Now the pendency as on 31st December 1987 was 5.5 lakhs. It has now exceeded 6 lakhs. On that day in the Delhi High Court, the pendency was 2000 odd. Now the pendency is over 25,000. The sanctioned strength of the Delhi High Court is 18 permanent judges and 3 additional judges. The Delhi High Court has 5 service judges, out of whom 2 are from outside. In principle, I have no objection to judges being brought from other states, but of the 5 service judges, at least 2 are to be from outside. That means 3 are from Delhi. The judges from the subordinate judiciary do not get any chance of promotion. I have worked it out, and I find that promotion is given to only about 40% of judges from the service cadre. Therefore they do not have the necessary incentive. I think something has to be done in this regard also to give proper incentives to the judges from the subordinate judiciary. If among the subordinate judiciary there are efficient and competent people, they should be promoted as high court judges. Of course, it will boosted the moral of these judges. Para. In fact, we have seen that many Supreme Court judges who are doing very well have been promoted from the subordinate judiciary. I would like to give some examples. Judge of the Supreme Court was at one time session judge. Another judge started his career as a subordinate judge. Similarly, my friend started his career as a civil judge. There are many such instances. I could even cite the example of another judge who delivered that famous judgment. He was also a district judge, and he was a promotee judge in the High Court. Therefore, my point is sufficient efforts should be made to give incentive to subordinate judiciary. The Honorable Law Minister has analyzed the disease, and he has found that all these backlogs or arrears are primarily due to the vacancies in the high courts. He has also said that the judge strength is not as much as it should be, and by way of an example he said about the Karnataka High Court where the sanctioned strength is 14 plus 3 additional judges, this comes to 17 but their requirement is 33. Similarly, if you work out the requirement of judges in each high court taking into consideration the quota of disposal fixed by the chief justice conference, namely 650 per year, we find that the judges strength in each high court has to be increased every year. This is because the areas go on mounting up. This is a constant problem every year. We cannot go on speaking about this. It is necessary that efforts should be made to tackle this problem of areas, and this can only be done by appointing suitable number of judges. Para, in this connection, I would like to point out one thing I could not understand, one thing which the Honorable Law Minister said in the course of his answers the other day. He said that proper judges were not appointed. I could not really understand what he meant by the words proper judges. For the appointment of judges, there is a specific provision in the Constitution. Certain minimum qualifications must be there. Firstly, a recommendation is made by the state government in consultation with the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court. Then the appointment is made. All this is known to the Honorable Law Minister. The same procedure has been followed. Therefore, when he made this observation that proper judges were not appointed, I would expect a gentleman like my friend who no occupies the office of the law minister not to make such statements which may create confusion in the minds of the people and the house. Stop.